All right, for my part one, I am doing Danse Macabre by Camille Saint-Saëns. Saint-Saëns is a French composer. He was around in the mid to late 1800s. This piece was performed for the first time in 1875. Saint-Saëns composed it in 1874, but it was published in 1875 near the middle of the Romantic era of music history. To give you some background on what was going on at the time, we had the Industrial Revolution, which meant that things were changing really quickly, both socially and technologically. Printing was more accessible, so the population had access to lots of novels, and sheet music as well was a really popular way to get music around. People would buy it and go play it on their home piano. And the figure of the lonely intellectual, so like the lonely painter or the writer or even the composer, was highly celebrated, which meant that a lot of the music at the time was dramatically loud or long or angsty. It explored themes relatable to everyone, such as love, death, nationalism, folklore, or things not of this world, the supernatural. It often makes use of the era's larger orchestras and a greater variety of timbres provided by advanced or exotic instruments, more so than you would see in the classical era that came before. For my analysis, I've chosen the section between 111 and 255 of this recording. I'll put a link to it somewhere. This section stands out to me because of how it contrasts with the sections before and after by building in energy using dynamics and repetitions of the same melody with different instruments. I'll focus on the rhythm, the timbre, and the dynamics for my analysis, starting with the rhythm. The rhythm is made of fast quarter and eighth notes by the background instruments. I'll play you a little bit. You can hear the do-do-do-do-do-do-do going on. That's the quarter and eighth notes. It's a really driving 3/4 rhythm. It continues through the whole thing and creates sort of an off-kilter waltz. It stays consistent as the melodies passed around different instruments and played in different styles. For example, between 142 and 147, back here, you've got that snippet where the rhythm, the same rhythm and kind of the same melody is being passed between the violin and the xylophone, and it stays consistent. It keeps the thing moving as it goes along. There are timbre contrasts fairly frequently as melody goes from woodwinds to high strings and low strings to percussion. I think that is coming up. So there's a big contrast there between the loud brass, the bombastic brass, and then it goes kind of to the low strings, and it's a little bit of a softer timbre. So, okay, now we'll talk about the dynamics. So the most important thing that I noticed about the dynamics is in this section here, it is mezzo forte, kind of mezzo piano, newly. It's quieter than it was before. And then around the 2-minute mark, it starts to get loud. Two-minute 15 mark, it starts. So it stays quiet, stays quiet, stays quiet, then around here-ish, maybe a little bit before. There's and this does fit into the Romantic era really well. It's new and exciting instrumentation like the xylophone. It uses a large orchestra and it relates to a large audience by painting a picture of death dancing on graves after midnight. Thanks for listening.